Hi, Jason. Welcome to Own Your Divine Light show, where I'm Janet Miller, and today I'm welcoming back that self-described average guy, Jason Stephenson. Jason says he is doing his best in the world and helping others to do the same. And how does Jason do this? For over 15 years, Jason has been studying the positive effects of guided meditation and relaxation music. His YouTube meditation sleep music channel has grown to over 1 million subscribers with over 250 million viewers. The importance of guided meditation came to Jason when he was having troubles in his life, and Jason began a daily ritual, and it changed his mindset, it changed his health, and that led Jason to helping others. Jason's meditations and affirmations have helped many thousands and thousands of people and emerge from their dark days and into days of hope and healing. So welcome, Jason. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Hello, Janet. Thank you. And as always, thank you for inviting me. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you right now in this moment, and the listeners as well. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, me too. That's how I feel. And honestly, it's so great to have you back. And I listened to your epic interview with Ali O'Shea. I couldn't help it. It was incredible. And I know we just discussed about it. And it was 2 hours, and it must have seemed very fleeting to get you, because you said, wow, I don't even realize it was 2 hours. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had no idea it was 2 hours at all. It was just like a beautiful flowing conversation, you know. Yeah, it was great.
It was, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. So I have to say, I can see with you, you have been on this amazing new adventure and journey of enlightenment. I mean, you have just changed. So I can see the light around you. You're like blazing. You're like a blazing light now.
Wow.
Nothing you weren't before, but now it's even bigger. I can just see it. And would you like to share a little bit about the new adventure you've been on and some of the gifts and awarenesses you've experienced?
Wow. Well, where it starts is that you may know that I'm the CEO of a company called Relax Me Online Australia. And I would dare say over the past 6 months, this company has grown considerably fast. And so along with growth also comes pain. A lot of difficult moments. It's not all happiness and not all easy, and I'm sure you're aware of this. And so there's been a lot of struggles, a lot more struggles than what there were previously. Something about the struggles, though, opens me up to more, I guess, to experience the struggles fully. But then also on the other flip side of that is when we're in moments like just here now, to experience the openness and the love and the contentment of just being. So yeah, there's been struggles, and there's been, when you're working with staff across the world, we've got about 5 full-time staff, a couple of part-times, and 12 contractors. And they're all the people behind the scenes that many people aren't even aware of. And there's personalities that come up. And so it's always, getting along with the personalities. And for me, that's can be tough. But I'm getting there, and I'm here now. And yeah.
That's so interesting that you say that, because I have a couple of people now I'm working with, and it's like, I just said today, wow, just coordinating 2 people, and you're coordinating like a number of people, up to almost a dozen. It does make, I was like, this is not easy. Trying to work through all this stuff with these two, trying to straighten everything out and get it all to like flow together. I'm like, what? someone running a bigger operation, I can actually, now I'm starting to see how that works. I really am. It's like, it was a real awakening for me today. And it's funny that you brought that up. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I only bring it up because it is the truth, and I think one day there could be some sort of program to do with that. To do with a friend actually suggested doing something with CEOs and meditation, and meditation is now. Can I tell you? I've actually introduced it now 5 days a week into work, into all my staff 5 days a week, because. And probably, as I said to my staff, also for my greedy reasons as well, because I need meditation in my life. It's just that simple. I need it, and so it helps me through, and it will help my staff through, and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, because it centers you. It brings you into like a centering place, and when you go in, and we forget about that because we're always so focused out. And so here we are focusing in, which is what it's all about. And our whole world is all about focusing out. And so you're making us all go in, which is so powerful. Because that's where we find out who we truly are. We find that peace, and we find that, the joy. It's real joy in there. I mean, it's amazing when you feel that inner peace. Your whole life starts to smooth out, as you know, because that's what happened to you, and that's what you're showing us all, and you're teaching us all. And powerful.
It's a beautiful way to start your day, to begin your day. If nothing else, just to begin that day from a centered place.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm not totally in that perfect place yet either, so I need to get back into more of that, because I was very, very good for a long time, and it's a slippery slope when you start doing other things. You have to make it a priority.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is, Janet. It is a slippery slope, and I think it's a matter of we fall down a little, but then we clamber back up, and then we fall down again, and then we go back up, and I'm seeing this picture happening.
Yeah, and the one thing is, I think people give up too easily, and even if you've missed it or you make a mistake, don't give up. Go back and do it again, because that's what I found out. Don't give up, and that. Don't give up, because no matter how hard it is, it must be worth it, because it's like touching something in you that you're here. It's a passion. It's like you're there.
And I think on that giving up, because sometimes if we allow that time to lapse, between meditations, even if it's 10 days, 20 days, even if it's 6 months, then we can stop completely and say, oh, I've let it go for so long, it's not worth it. No, you can pick it up again anytime. It can be a year later. Just the thing is not to beat yourself up about that, and just begin when you're ready, when you're ready to do it again.
Absolutely, because it brings you that inner peace, and you're going to see your life smooth out, and you just sort of, your decisions are better. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Your head is clearer, and everything is clearer.
Yes, and I think it's an overall acceptance, Janet, of everything the way it is now. And even if that's the struggles, even if that's the painful moments, like, so tapping into that and say, okay, what's going on here now? I'm feeling this. I'm feeling the struggles, and because of course it's okay when we're in those joyous moments to feel the joy and to experience the joy fully. But quite often when it comes to the painful moments, what do we want to do? We want them to go away quickly, to push them away, and to not even acknowledge them. And that's what this mindfulness can do. It brings us into this state of acknowledging and saying, okay, this is where I'm at right now, and let's just take a look at this, and where does this stem from? And then I think through that acknowledgement process, only then will it dissipate at its own accord once we've recognized what's happening.
Yeah, I love that. That makes so much sense to me. It totally does. And I found that when I'm in a struggle, it's like, okay, stop. You need to stop. I really have to stop myself, because then I'm like, okay, what is it I need to pay attention to here? The universe is bringing me this to show me something that's not really working. So calm down, get clear, and just think about it for a few minutes. Like go into the meditative state. Like even if you take 5 minutes, it totally changes your life. I mean, you literally can relax and your mind just goes, huh, you breathe, like you say, like your shirt. And I'm gonna show people this wonderful. This is probably a little early, but I'm going to show that Jason has now developed some amazing new products, and they're so fun. He's got a cup, Namaste, which is missing at the moment. But he also has Tonight I'm Sleeping with Jason, which I think is so adorable. And he said that's one of his best sellers, which I love, because I looked at that and said, I think I may have to get that. And he has it in a sweatshirt and a t-shirt. And then this one down here is gorgeous because it says, believe, breathe, believe, and receive. And, you know, that's what meditation does for you. That's
I love that.
What it does. I know, it's beautiful. I said, that is such a perfect to wear that. It's an awareness. It just like makes you look at yourself. If you're wearing that and you look in the mirror and you go, oh yeah, I'm not doing that right now. I'm not relaxing. I'm not breathing. I mean, a lot of times we don't breathe. I mean, I see it myself. We don't take the moment to just take a full breath. I mean, seriously, we hold our breath much more than we realize. I mean, you probably see that with, you know, when people.
Oh, look, I even see it with myself too, to be honest, Janet. And here's the thing, when I wear that sloppy Joe, we call them sloppy Joes here. I'm not sure but when I wear that, people will read it out and go, I hear them say, oh, breathe. And then I go, am I breathing? Okay, holding my breath. And so it's a beautiful sweatshirt or sloppy Joe to wear because people remind you to breathe. Yeah. People remind you to take a breath. What are you doing? You know, as you said, how often do we hold our breath? How often? And we're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just saw myself holding it. As soon as I read that, I went, you're not like breathing very well. I totally got that in my own head right now. Like, breathe, Janet, you know, relax, even breathe, because, you know, it's just the way we get all caught up in the moment. And it's like, wow, you got to breathe. And when you breathe, everything stops, you relax, your body just, it's just wonderful.
I read once somewhere that we only use, I think it was 70% of our breathing capacity most of the time. Mm-hmm. So it's 30% we're not using.
Oh, I believe that, because I remember I was a nurse, so we used to do these breathing techniques, and you have this breathing machine. And I used to work out a lot. I'm walking at this moment, but when I really had good breathing because I made sure I was breathing, and that's how I could get through my exercises. Because if you're not breathing, and they were intense, if you're not breathing when you're doing anything, your energy's just not there. It just isn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I saw that I was doing well. When they checked me, they said, wow, you're doing pretty good, Janet. Your breathing is good. And I'm like, oh, so nice to hear. Well, now I'm going to get back into a little more breathing. So it's a great reminder, that shirt. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are beautiful products. So anyone who's interested, you can go on Jason's Facebook page. You can go on his website. It's what's your website, Jason?
Well, my website at the moment is undergoing major transformations, but it's jasonstephenson.net.
Okay.
Which will send you to a meditation. But yeah, we're undergoing major transformations at the moment with the websites.
That's funny that you're a .net, because I'm a .net. My first one is .net, and I'm like, you know, I like that because we're the net. We're the new network. Planet, which I loved when I got net instead of .com, because everybody's a .com, and I'm like, oh, I'm a .net. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've met another .net person.
Not a lot of us. So these new gifts, I know you've had, like, you did a really interesting thing. I don't know if you want to share it, but you did go down to South America and you had an experience down there. I think you were in South America. Maybe you weren't. I don't know where you were, but you did this particular spiritual trip, like a mind trip. And then you took I don't want to, you know, it's up to you how much you want to share. So it's wonderful spiritual medicine that you took.
Oh, yes. Excuse me. And I will tell you, that one was actually in Australia.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, in the country, far removed from anywhere else in the world. Like it was so isolated, that place, and that was a part of the beauty of that. Yeah, I took a 2 day, a 3 day retreat with the ayahuasca
Yeah.
ceremony, which was, whoa, like that was life changing. I will do it again sometime for sure, but it was quite. There were parts of that were absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful, and there were other parts that were absolutely horrific for me.
Mm.
And it's, for those of you that may not know of the ayahuasca, it's a plant from the Amazon.
Yep.
And it's when it's crushed, and when it's crushed and put into a tea, it has these amazing spiritual transformation effects that can be very, very profound. And of course, when you do this, you have to do this with people that know what they're doing, because it has also, there's been dangers with it as well if you're not aware of it. But for me, it was what it opened me up to was, oh, wow, there are a number of things. The first one was it expanded my mind so much, and I witnessed, one of the first things I witnessed was love. And how did I witness that? What was happening, we were outside when we were drinking the tea, and I thought to myself, it was about 20 minutes had passed, and I had a smaller one. I said, look, I only want a small one. I have never had this before. I'm really going with the small one. So I sat there for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and nothing was happening. And I thought to myself, okay, I haven't drunk as much, so maybe nothing's going to happen. So I'm looking up at the night sky. It was nighttime, and I could see the stars. The next minute, it kicked in my mind, and it had an effect, and the stars started to float down towards me.
Wow.
And it was just like, and I remember, like, I was screaming out going, oh my goodness, this is what people are talking about. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And it was so beautiful. Like, I was just almost in tears. Like, it was just, it was so profound. And it opened my heart. And I think people were laughing at me the next morning, because what I was doing was just expressing all this love inside me. And I'm just saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. And of course, everyone's in their own space, and I think at some time, I remember with the guy coming around saying, look, it's great that you're feeling this, and we're just going to move you over to here, just because everyone's having their own experiences, and it was truly an amazing, it was an amazing experience. And that was the joyous side. And the next night was actually not a good experience. The next night was quite horrific for me. It was a different tea. It was an acacia Australian plant with something else. And of course, with this, even the ayahuasca comes a lot of purging.
Yes.
And I'm talking, for me, it was 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
And it was absolutely, like, that's exhausting. And it said that is also getting rid of not only physical toxins, but it's getting rid of all the crap that has been built up in our minds and our lives over the past years.
Wow.
And as I said, the second night I actually felt like, reflecting back on it, it could have been what they call a spiritual death, like a dying of the ego. Yeah. However, when I was going through it, it actually felt like it was a physical, like I was about to die completely. Wow. And it scared me no end. And I believe it was, now reflecting back at, possibly they say it could have been, the ego dying. And what happens is the mind, can't tell the difference between, the mind thinks, the ego thinks it's dying, and it's trying to cling on. And so I thought I was dying, and it was quite horrific. Sure. But then I just sat up. I couldn't even lie down, because I thought, if I lie down, it's finished. I'm going to go to sleep and die, you know. So I sat up the whole time. I'm like, all I did was keep breathing, talking about breathing.
Wow.
Overall an amazing experience, but afterwards just this beautiful place of peace and love. And I also saw transformations in my brother with his family, major transformations, like major breakthroughs. So I saw that with my own eyes, and he went, I won't tell his story, but yeah, he transformed his life through those 2 days.
Wow.
As you can tell, I get a bit excited about all of that because it was
wonderful. It's powerful to hear the journey because not a lot of people will talk about it. And I've heard bits and pieces, and I'm so excited that you shared that because I read a book once. A girlfriend gave me this book on ayahuasca, and I had no idea what I was reading. I had no clue what it was all about. She didn't even explain this is a plant. It was just like, I am ayahuasca, and it talked about what it does. And I was reading it, but I can't even remember what it really said, to tell you the truth, because I read it anyway. And I just figured it was a spiritual moment I'm going through here. And yet I didn't understand it was a plant. And I didn't understand that people use that to cleanse themselves spiritually and to, like you're doing, transform. I mean, you know, all you've done in your life, there's always more for transforming. And you've just, it seems like you've purged like the end. It's like gone.
My goodness, yeah. Yeah. I remember the next morning after the first day, my brother and I just got together and we were speechless. And I just said, Matt, I said, what are your thoughts? And he just shook his head and he said, I don't know. I don't know what I've gone through, but I know it was full on. And he said, I know what I have to do when I get home.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, okay. He said, yeah. He said, I know what I have to do. And and yeah, so there was major things coming up for both of us.
It's profound. I mean, and it's very cleansing. I have a lot of friends that have done it. They've gone down to South America, which is the big place, but you can do it anywhere as long as you're with people who totally know what they're doing. It has to be.
Absolutely, yeah. This is not like a drug that plant medicine that can be fun. It's for fun. It's not for fun at all. If you want for fun, go somewhere else because this is not for fun.
This is a spiritual journey, and it's powerful, and you have to have people with you to take care of you while you're going through it. You really do.
Yeah.
Because you cannot be alone. So it's powerful that you shared that. Thank you so much. Because I think, when people hear so many things that people go through, look at what you did. You decided to do that for yourself, and look at the change. Look at that. I can see the change in you even physically. You look so radiant, and you're so much lighter. Your light is just huge.
Isn't that funny? Isn't it funny what you go through when we go through, these different things in life, and it's almost tossing them aside, and we get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. I think that's our journey, our spiritual journey.
Yeah, and this is that year. This is the big year that they're saying to do what you did. I mean, that was a huge thing. And I've done other kind of things that I've been doing, which is, help me purge a lot of my own things. It was another purge experience. Ayahuasca, but it was wonderful in so many ways because I saw myself come into a whole new understanding of how I am and how I can affect people and what I don't see in myself. And it's like, whoa, I never saw that before. And I got a real openness with my daughter who said, well, now you're willing to hear me, Mom. And I'm like, really? I wasn't hearing you before? I didn't even realize that.
Wow.
And it allowed her to really speak even freer with me. And I was so grateful for that, and my son too. I think our relationships have shifted. All the relationships have shifted in such a great way, not that they were bad, they weren't, but they're better. They're even better now. And I have to share. I'm a grandmother, Jason.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
And I'm going to show you my little man here. My little Nathan James. Isn't he?
Oh, how beautiful.
Isn't he something? I mean, I
thought for a moment you were actually you were grabbing the baby and you were going to hold the baby.
I had him here. I'm going to him this weekend, which is so exciting.
Congratulations. So beautiful.
Yeah, he's our first grandchild. So it's like, wow,
Oh,
I know. And my son was thrilled because he's a son, and you know,
oh,
he's a Miller.
oh, that's so good. Congratulations.
Thank you. He'll be 1 month on Monday, so it's pretty exciting. He's really brand new.
And aren't children and babies like seriously out of teachers? They're the teachers. They're the best teachers. We have so much. Yeah.
I'm watching my son attend to his son. He's wonderful with him. He's just done everything. He doesn't hold back. He's doing the diapers. He's doing the changing. He's doing everything. And I'm so proud of him. And I'm so happy for him that he's just so willing. I mean, his dad was like that. So it's so nice to see he's like that, because you never know, everybody's different. And
a lot of love there. A lot of love. The connection between that's
beautiful. So, I know you also had another person that you met. You met a special guide, I heard.
Oh,
In your life, which is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this starts back at way back when I was going through actually trouble in my 20s, and I wasn't sure at that time if it was an imaginary friend. I didn't know what it was, to be honest. But David, his name is. And he was always there when I was going through really, really difficult times. And so I believe that, and later on I did a meditation through a program that was called, a channeling program. And it was connecting with your guides. And guess who should come forward after, and this was, 20, 30 years down the track now, David come forward again. And I'm like, whoa, you're my spiritual guide? You were way back in my 20s when I was going through a really tough time, and here he is. And so this was not an imaginary friend. Even if it was, that's still okay. It doesn't matter what you used to call it or whatever, but it was this beautiful connection. And even now today, and wherever I am, all I have to do is just to close my eyes, and David is there, and I can have, not wanting to sound nuts, but I can have beautiful conversations, and all he does is just listen without judgment. And it's through that the answers unfold and direction comes, just through that. Oh yeah. I've had some beautiful experiences there.
Yeah. I love that, because I have to say one quick thing. My son's name is David.
Oh, I'll be damned.
I was like, wow, that is an amazing name. I always loved the name David. It's been my favorite guy's name. And, I knew that was his name before I even knew he was going to be here. But he was a David, and there was no doubt about it. So that's powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the beautiful thing is also, if I ask questions, he also lets me know too, if I'm going if I'm going off the track, but he does it in such a beautiful and gentle way, almost sometimes even with silence. If I ask him a question and he just sits there and he doesn't answer, and I go, okay, I know. I know where you're coming from. Thank you very much, because you've just told me the answer. That's all I needed. And so he's giving me direction, and all I do is simply I can get that through meditating, and not even meditating now, just closing my eyes and calling upon my guide. I believe we all have spiritual guides of some sort, all of us.
Absolutely.
Call it what you will, call it guides, call it an imaginary friend, call it a source or universal powers or God, or yeah.
It's funny, when I first got my Reiki, my first level Reiki, I met my guide, and I saw her eyes. I saw these beautiful eyes. They were like Egyptian eyes. She had the almond eyes, and she was a dancer. And she said her name was Marta. And so she was my first guide, and I actually saw her. I saw her picture. I saw her eyes, and I know she's around, but I don't have that kind of connection you do, and I need to work harder on that, because they are there for you. And I know that. And as soon as you open up the communication, They will answer, because those are your guardian angels. If people want to look at them, they're
Yeah.
your guardian angels. They're always there, but we have to approach them. We have to ask them to come here and talk to them. And they say the more you talk and the more you interact, the more easy the connection becomes. And look at what you've done since all this work you've achieved. And David came in a long time ago, but now he's coming fully.
Yeah, well, so for 30 years there was no connection. I've gone off and did my own thing, and I remember when he came back, and all he said was, and I said, "It's you," and he said, "Yes." He said, "I've always been here. I've been here waiting."
Yeah, and they are. They're so patient, and we don't realize we have to ask. They're not going to do it for us. We need to ask them for the help, and we need to approach them, because, as we know, it's the free will here that makes us do the work. We have to do the work.
Yes,
and
yes.
Just flow to us. Like people think, oh, well, I'm waiting for God to show me a sign. Well, you have to ask for that. You've got to ask for the sign. You've got to say, all right, show me something that, let me know. It reminds me of my mom is here, my dad's here, or somebody's here for me. I want to see a sign that would remind me of them. And, you can tell them what you want to see, or you could just say something that's familiar that I would recognize, We've got to set these things up for ourselves, which we don't realize. We're creating it because we're creators, as you know, conscious creators. The more you step into it, and the more you're responsible for your creations, the more you get out of it in your life. I mean, it's the mindfulness. It's mindfulness too.
Yeah.
All the same words, the mindfulness.
So, it is. Yeah, definitely creators. And that's everything. Creators of everything, the good, the bad, the indifferent.
Exactly.
We're the creators. And we've got to take, at least live like we're taking 100% responsibility for our own lives, and not shifting out of the blaming and shaming game of everyone else and everything else, and begin to really take a deep look at ourselves and go, okay, I've created this. This is happening. What can I do if we're not comfortable? What can I do to change right now? What can I do?
Yeah. And that was part of my awakening. I mean, I kind of was in the still little of blame game there for a while. And I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I was doing it. And I really was. And I didn't look at it that way. But I was. And I'm like, wow, now I can't do that, because now I know it's me creating it.
Yes.
I have to be responsible. The way I react, the way I talk, the way I receive, all of it, it's all about us. Receiving and, being able to, stop and really pausing before we say things, which is not so easy sometimes. But, like you say, breathe. When you breathe and you relax and you receive, it makes so much more sense. And it just...
And that's the beauty of where the mindfulness meditation comes into play, because it allows us to create that space between what we do, what we're about to do, or if we're about to react. Space and awareness. I guess it's that awareness of, okay, I'm feeling, there's a bit of anger coming up here. Whoa, what's going on here? And so instead of just spewing it forward, we can just come from a place of awareness and deal with things in a much more a greater way.
Yeah, because you're coming from your heart. It's almost like connecting with your heart. I mean, like you said, you saw the love, you felt so much love, and I know that's who you are, because you exude that with the things that you do. And you wouldn't have created what you had created if you didn't have that huge amount of love to send out to the world. And you're helping people heal with that love. I mean, that's what you send out. You're sending out this powerful love. And so when you saw that, and it was like a gift for you in a way, you got to receive it. Wow, it's right there. What a beautiful gift you received.
Yeah.
That was so wonderful. So, I know you started to meditate very young. So I don't know, in the last talk we had, you told me you started like really young, like your mom started you with something. How did you start?
Exactly. Yeah. I remember, my first unofficial meditation was when I was very, very young, because I wasn't even aware that I was meditating. I would often go off on my own. we went around Australia. We took 6 months off school, us three boys, when I was about 10, 11, 12. Anyway, we went around Australia, and often I would find myself alone and sitting in nature and just being. And even way back then, I remember having moments of clarity and completeness, just in moments of, and I can recall that. I can recall the fullness, the joy of just being as a child and sitting there content, and like everything that I ever wanted was there in that moment. And they're the beautiful moments that I remember as a child. But it wasn't until I was about 16 that my mum said, I'm going to a meditation class, and do you want to come with me? And of course, all I thought about back then was, spirituality. I thought, maybe I'll lift off the ground, when I meditate. So I went to this meditation class, and of course I didn't lift off the ground, but I did feel this sense of peace afterwards. I thought, wow, that's something. I'm gonna revisit that sometime. And sure enough, I did, years later. And I went to a 10-day monastic retreat. I think that was for me, this was the biggest kick for me of mindfulness. And it was difficult, it was a strict monastic. I had my hair shaved, robes, 2 meals a day, and no talking, silence. And let me tell you, it was a shock to my system at that time, because I was on a bit of a, I guess at that time I would have been going through a bit of a time where I didn't respect myself and my body. And I was probably dabbling in drugs and a lot of alcohol then at that time. So, of course, there was a lot of dysfunction, I guess, in my life. So when I went into this monastic retreat, and I remember them saying to me when I applied, they said, Jason, we think you'd be better to do a 2-day retreat. And I said, no, I want to do I'm going all in. I want the 10-day retreat. That's what I'm doing. And so they were right. It was heavy going. And once you're in, you can't leave. Okay. And so for the first few days of that, of being still, of course, when we're, meditating quite often and being still, it brings to the surface all the crap and everything. And of course, for me, what was coming up was lots of anger because I was like, who do these people think they are, with their rules and regulations? Why do we have to be silent? And I was just going off. My mind was going crazy. So the first 3 days were very, very difficult for me. But I'll tell you what, by the time I hit the 4th and 5th day, I began to understand what mindfulness was all about. And it was an amazing experience. And can I tell you a little, if I've got time?
Yeah.
Just to tell you one of the things that happened. The reverend of the temple said, okay, we had duties to do each day. And it was all about mindfulness, whatever we had to do, being there fully. So I said, sure. What's today? And she said, okay. She said, you're going to clean all the rails of the temple for the whole temple all day. Yeah. And she handed me a bucket of water and a tiny, tiny toothbrush. And I looked at her and I said, are you serious? And she said, yes. She said, begin. And again, the anger surfaced. I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm wasting my time and, all this. Who do they think they are? This is crazy. So she just said, just begin and don't worry about the end, the outcome, and what you just go. And so I was scrubbing at first, this ornate temple that went for miles and miles and miles and miles. I'm scrubbing away like angry, and I'm like, this is crazy, what am I doing here? And all the questioning, the monkey mind, of course. Yeah. And then as I was doing it, I started to calm down and calm down and calm down. And then I began to finally, after hours, I began to catch myself in the moment of just doing the cleaning, and the mind began to calm down. And I was just there. And so much so, in fact, I began to enjoy it. And I would even try and get out the little tiny spiders that were in the crevices. I'd be getting them out so I wouldn't hurt them, and then doing my best to gently put them back after I'd cleaned the
Really?
Yes. And it became a joyous experience and peaceful experience. So that was my first lesson in mindfulness, and it was a big wake up call for me.
That was powerful, and you put yourself in it too. You actually put yourself there, saying, "I'm ready for this," even though others tried to stop you. You said, "No, no, no, I'm doing it," which is so wonderful. And look,
Yes.
Look where it got you. Now you've created
Yes.
all this for others, and you're sharing it in such a beautiful way. And you got your mindfulness. I mean, that's how you can teach us now about mindfulness, because you literally experienced it that way. It's so powerful. Wow. That's beautiful. Because you kind of shared that story the last time a little, but now you've given a whole new look at it. So it was really powerful to hear it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And yes, you got the mindfulness from that, which is just incredible.
That was the beginning of the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And you battled addictions like I have. We've both been sober, and I think it's so powerful to just say that, because life is not easy, but we did it. And it's, congratulations to you for getting past all that. And it's wonderful.
I mean, upon saying that, I still have now the occasional drink.
Do you?
I do. But nothing like it's not out of control like it was.
Okay, so you're good. You're good then. All right.
Oh, yes. And as for drugs, no. I mean, I was well off the rails, and basically, and even gambling. That was all a part of it. It was an absolute. Everything was a mind numbing to get my mind away from who I really am and what's really going on inside me and how I feel and my anger and resentment. And that's what the addiction was there for. Yeah. Just to not face reality.
Sure. That's what it does for us. That's exactly what it does. And I love that, look at now you've even purged more with the experience this year, and it's all clear and it's beautiful. And I know you've created a new platform. You've got a new platform called Think Big Lifestyles that you're creating. You want to tell us a little about that before?
We'll actually say that's actually not happening now.
Oh, really? Okay, it's not happening. Okay, so changed.
No.
Great.
Yeah, that we moved on from that. I'm open to try things, Jana, and I try all different things, and then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But
that's perfect.
Although ultimately everything does work, doesn't it? Because even if you don't do it, then you know that you're not going to go on that track.
Yeah, so it stops you from wasting time and precious moments and that when you know it's not where you need to be.
Yeah,
That's exciting. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you want to tell people about, when you did tell them about trying meditation, you said these are the things you should do no matter how long you've been away from it. Any other advice about meditation that you'd like to share, and mindfulness, because that's what you did.
I think, where will I start with this? Just to begin, no matter where you are, and to recognize too that you're never wrong. And in doing the practice, I hear often people say, "Oh, look, I've tried that. I can't do it. I can't stop the mind." Well, we must remember that that's what meditation is. It's not about trying to stop anything. It's mindfulness meditation is about being aware of the moment as it stands now, without judging that, and with just full acceptance of that moment. And so to anyone that says, you can't do it, just begin. And currently at the moment, I've been busy. And you know what I'm doing in the mornings? I'm doing 10-minute meditations in the mornings. And then, I do my stuff also with my staff as well. So even if you grab moments like 5 minutes of meditation or 10 minutes, it's been said, I know Headspace did some studies on this, and it's been said that 10 minutes of meditation 3 times a week
Mm.
can be enough to change the neural pathways in the mind.
Ooh.
So please keep that in mind. You don't have to beat yourself up and do half an hour every day or anything like that. But of course, it's cumulative.
Yeah.
The more we do the meditation, the more we do the practice, the greater the benefits and the greater the experience we have in this life. So just enjoy that process.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love that. And that makes, it's so easy for people to hear that then, because then they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
Willing to take 5 or 10, even if it's only 5, but try for 10, because now Jason's saying there's a reason you'd want to go for 10, which makes so much sense. And I haven't heard that. So that's really good news.
Yeah.
I love that you're sharing that here, because people, will try it. Everyone's willing to give 10 minutes, and you don't want to be in bed doing it, because in bed will put you to sleep, right? And that's not the same thing.
Yeah, well, there's, I do the sleep meditations, and the idea of those sleep meditations is purely to help you to experience some mindfulness at the beginning, but then once we've experienced that mindfulness, then to let go and sleep. But meditation, the benefits of meditation are when we become awake, we become aware, and through that awareness, that spills over into all areas of our lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that's beautiful. I love that. And I know you are very famous for your sleeping meditations, and that's what because a lot of people can't sleep. I know that. It's really incredible. And I've put yours on, and they're wonderful. Oh my goodness. It's wonderful.
Well, I've got to tell you something quite funny, and most people wouldn't say this, but I listened to one of my meditations the other night, and for me it didn't work, and I'm like, who does this person think he is? This doesn't work. And
it's probably because you're in your head, judging it. You were judging it a little, and that's
probably
from relaxing, of course. It's so hard not to judge yourself sometimes, and we have to just step away when you've got to go right at it like you're someone, needing sleep.
So I'm not going to listen to my work anymore. It's finished.
So you couldn't sleep? Did you finally get to sleep?
Yeah, I had a bit of a rough night, I will tell you. But I finally got to sleep. But yeah.
Was it a full moon? You might have been during a full moon, That couldn't be part of it, because that will do it.
Oh, they could have been, but there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in my mind after it, highly.
Messed me up too. Or now I have too much going on. Oh, it's so hard to unplug. It's very hard to unplug. But you'll have to listen to someone else for sleep meditation so that you can be out of the judgment zone.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really great. I love that. So I know, time has moved, but we've gone over time. I appreciate you still hanging in there. And it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful sharing. And is there anything like for the rest of 2019 that you think people need to know? Like what's any messages? Because you've done so much expansion for yourself for the second half of 2019. What do you see for people? What do you feel is something you need to know?
Well, can I also say that I've been really busy behind the scenes working on a project called Empowered Sleep Formula. Powered Sleep Formula. And the idea of this program, I don't want to give too much away. It's not released as yet. It's coming up. And it might be released once this interview airs. I'm not quite sure. But Empowered Sleep Formula. And what it's basically about is about beginning to change our mindset before we go to sleep and also upon awakening. So we begin to create, to have more of an aspect of creating our lives rather than just allowing our lives to be tossed around. And so that's what I'm currently working on. And I put a lot of time and energy and love and work into this. And so if you keep your eye open for that, I truly believe this is life transforming stuff.
Wow.
And the combination of meditation, affirmations, and lots of things put together. And not only that, you will get a better sleep working through the program.
Now, are you creating this program yourself?
Yes, myself and a team of people. Yes, it will be my the new program.
That's exciting.
And if you sign up to my list, my email list, and you get this free meditation, I will no doubt be telling you about it as time progresses.
Right. So that's your free gift, and I didn't ask you to share that yet. What your free gift is, the free meditation. So anyone who wants it, Jason's got his wonderful meditation to share, and it's a specific one, obviously, because you picked it out.
Yes.
Is it a sleep meditation?
Yeah, this is a sleep meditation that I'm giving away, but it also has not only that, it has affirmations at the end of the meditation that to help to reprogram the mind as you're drifting off to sleep.
Oh, wonderful.
And the beautiful thing is with the sleep meditation is the fact that, number one, the first thing we do when we record this meditation is first we open the mind with awareness, with the mindfulness. So connecting to your breath and to your body. And so once the mind is opened and aware, that is the perfect time for affirmations to enter the subconscious, because you're not judging at that point. You're just aware, open, and in full acceptance. And so this meditation that they will receive has that.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So
you're welcome.
Don't miss it, everybody. And I just want to thank our audience for coming, tuning in and listening to Jason and this wonderful adventure he's been on for the other half of 2019. And you can see, if I put the two of them together, you could see the shift in who you are now. It's just lovely. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
It is. And I would love you all to email any insights or questions you have. I pass it on to Jason if there's something he needs to know. And I've had a great communication from many people from the first season, and I answer them personally as much as I can, and I will recommend anything they need to you if they need to connect with you. So thank you all for that, and we read them all, and I personally answer them as much as I can. And Jason, thank you again for being that radiant love and joy that you are, and in sharing all that and bringing so much peace to the world. You are such a peacemaker in so many ways with your beauty, the beautiful things that you bring to us. And
thank you, Janet.
Yeah, with those wonderful healing meditations and affirmations. You really are.
And can I just say thank you too for your work, Janet? I appreciate what you're doing and the work, and that you're setting it up to spread this far and wide. So yeah, I thank you.
Yeah, we're all spreading love as much as we can, and knowing that we're all here for each other, and there's ways to help yourself. So we're helping everyone unlock their passion, ignite their authenticities, and create the lives they love. So thank you so much, Jason. And I'm Janet Miller, and I'll see you on the next episode.